Last name, Samuel L. Period. That's the way I do it. You do it however you want. Okay? And then I put these words, or any derivative thereof. That's the way I do it. Again, I like to have a life. Okay? And the last thing I'm going to do is sign my name over and over and over. Yes?
If you need to change your name, would that include the derivative of thereof, or do you have to submit a previous name also?
If ladies have a different, because, you know, some of them have 15 names. Depends on how many times they've been married. And so whatever you've done business in, you need to, you know, at some point in time, wherever, I would go back a ways, and I would, if I used a name last year, I'd probably search in that name if I've got a different name this year. Okay? I'm not really a chauvinist. When I got remarried, I took my wife's name. You don't believe me? That's absolutely true. What do you mean, what did I do with it?
When you took it.
I use it. That was her last name, too. Yeah.
I'm rather confused. I'm from the state of Washington, and I filed the UCC-1 the first time. Then I did the UCC-11, and mainly, find out the IRS has liens.
Yes?
They don't. So, nobody else in the state that I know of does. However, I did this in October of 2000, yeah, it was 2000. Does that mean that that piece of paper now is null and void?
No, he's asking if he didn't do, if I get this right, you're asking me if you didn't do the 11 first, is everything else you've done null and void? Is that right?
Well, what I was trying to say is you said something in 1 year, the thing is expired, you gotta start over again.
Who said?
Yep. Maybe that's where I'm confused. Can you clear that up for me?
No. Filing generally is good for 5 years. One of the reasons we checked the box debtor is a transmitting utility, because there was no expiration on a transmitting utility. So you didn't have to refile every 5 years. I haven't looked at the new Article 9 to see if transmitting utility is even in there and defined. Okay?
I'm going by the, I'll clear up some of these books that are around front of them. We call it the RCW. That's the Revised Code of Washington. We all know the codes are secret. The word code means. Well, I went and looked it up on the 66, RCW 66, is the same as the old UCC, what do you call it, the UCC book, the old book, the great big thick one. Okay, so if you look like you want to look at, say, a UCC 9, look under RCW 66-9.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but
What I'm trying to say is, I was confused about in other words, the stuff that I filed is still in effect then.
yes,
Okay, for 5 years.
yes, because I happen to have Washington Code, and it doesn't have anything to do with Title 66. The UCC in Washington is 62A.
62, okay.
62A.
62, okay.
Okay, and so in a filing, a UCC1 filing is generally good for 5 years. A transmitting utility filing is good till you rescind it or terminate it.
Good, because I had my wife file one and I filed.
Yeah, it's filed. Okay? All right. Now, what happens is that this is the way I do it. You put the address on it, you pay the fees, and you get it back, and now you put it in a file, and away you go. Okay? Now you either know that there's somebody there or there's somebody not there. Generally speaking, nobody's there. What does that mean? When you file that UCC1, you're number one with a bullet. Okay? Yes?
Did you do the 11 search if you've lived in like 3 or 4 different states for each state?
If you've done business there recently, absolutely. Yeah. Okay? Now, I'll tell you what let's do. We're going to get to a break in about 10 minutes, I think. And during that break of the tape, I'm going to set up a microphone so that if you have a question as I'm going through this part of it, you can ask it. Okay? So just hang on with your questions for a few minutes. Let me go through this and thoroughly confuse you, and then we'll unravel it all. Okay? So we do a UCC 11, and then we do the UCC 1. Okay? And now let me clear up something right off. Let's say that something comes back on a vehicle, and let's just use a vehicle for a moment, and you've got 2 years to go on the payments on it, and you file a UCC 1, make sure you include that vehicle. Okay? Just because there's one UCC on it doesn't mean there can't be another one. You put it on there. Now, when the other UCC 1 is removed at the end of your payment, guess what? You're first in line. Okay? All right? You're just stacking up some cards. You're just trying to be the first card. Okay? So, we go and we go to the UCC 1. Now, again, I go to the debtor box and I put my name as I described to you. This is the way I do it. If I can remember how to spell it. Okay, and then I list my address and I put it in all caps and I put this guy in the federal zone with the zip code. And then I put my social security number on there, or his social security number, however you want to call it. Okay? I put the zip code, address. I have to force myself to write in capital letters. And most of the time I'll just use a 2-letter designation. That's the way my debtor box looks. And also I put, or any derivative thereof. Okay? Now then, what I do is I go to the secured party box. Okay? And this is how I write my name. This is my name. Now, some people do it like this. They put a hyphen here. Some people make this. Some people don't do any of that. It doesn't matter. Okay? You say what your name is. I have no right to tell you what your name is. You say who you are. Okay? And you're the only one that gets to say that. Because you're the only one that can make a legal determination as to what and who you are. Unless you want to give somebody else permission. Okay?
Do you have to use your legal name?
Do you have to use your legal name? There's an interesting question. Let's come back to that, okay? It's not a question you get every day.
Whatever they do as far as in the creditor block, if they do something on that UCC1 form, I mean, think about it in advance, and be consistent with it.
Well, just wait a minute, because nobody can hear that. So we're going to get in a few minutes when Gary says change the tape, we're going to deal with that, okay? Well, you guys are really creating a lot of editing. You know that, don't you? Okay, now here's the way I do the rest of this. I now write out in care of, and then I put my address, and I put it in upper and lower case.